Real quick before the video starts, I recently just changed my OBS to split my audio. Unfortunately, I didn't notice that it had reset my video to be on low quality outputs, so this video isn't the best quality. Especially when ults are going off, it seems like my RAM kind of tried to save itself and lowered the quality of the video in those moments. I'm sorry, but I've already fixed it for the next video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a chill VOD review with Nomy. Nomy was a tank player for the San Francisco Shock back when the Overwatch League was in its prime. Now he's playing Marvel Rivals, obviously no longer in the Overwatch League. But I think it's cool to see how two people from two different games, Nomy being from Overwatch, myself being from Smite, but both of us kind of having a coaching mentality also. Just seeing how we view a VOD, and we do kind of get sidetracked looking at other things outside of Nomy's gameplay, but I think most of the conversations would be beneficial for most people to watch, although it does kind of cover a macro lens and thought approach to the game. I thought it would be cool to see. Do you care about maps at all? Like, you know, you're playing Royal Palace Domination. Do you actually go in thinking, I'm playing Strange because it's important this map? Or...
I think for right now, I think it's more important for you to go into a game just picking the character that you think you can carry with. So like during this phase of the game, ideally you choose the character that you want to, that you feel that you can have the highest impact. So for example here, I just picked Strange because I think he's just, you know, tier S character, right? Yeah. Especially in King of the Hill maps or Conquest maps, I think is what it's called here, Domination or whatever. Yeah. You know, getting the space and the map control early, which you will notice in the replay, it's vital and fundamental for the first fight. So I think he's just really powerful here. But just going back to your question, is I do like to just, you know, tell people, hey, I play this character, I can carry you with this character, so I just pick him. But at the end of the day, what if Stranger gets banned? Then, you know, I need to, you know, maybe finesse it a little bit different.
Yeah, I originally was a hater of everyone teleporting to point first. I thought it was like a waste when, like, you know, day one of the game. Because I thought you're able to walk and match the first fight. But now, we're still early on in, like, Marvel Rivals. But it's so important to get to point first and just have, like, a good position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is like, obviously the way to say it is it's a little bit too, I want to say, like, too specific. Like when you teleport, you don't want to just like teleport on top of point because it's a waste of time. You want to teleport in a way that you have an advantage, that you give an advantage to your team. So here, for example, right, you can teleport to point as you said, but if you pause for a second, if you teleport on point, then you're gonna be on the low ground, right? You're gonna be on the low ground. The enemy's gonna have the high ground on you, and you never want to have the enemies above you. Never. Like that's really, really bad.
Do you know what's really funny? Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I literally did a VOD review of like the best team in Europe on this map, and they teleport to the low ground on this map, and they played and just stole the point the whole time. But in ranked, yeah, you have to 100% take high ground. I do agree. Yes.
Yeah, I think like if you have a specific game plan, then obviously, right? Like, maybe they have like triple support or something. Then you can just play the point and stall forever, right? But here, like, you notice how by me doing this teleport, like now I have control of the choke, right? So the only person out of the choke is the Venom. And if their backline wants to push out, like they have to push out to me, which is I'm like a fully juiced like Strange. And you notice here like how everything just gets clear because I'm already charged, right? Yeah. I'm pressing E on their backline, which is what you want to do. You don't want to eat the tanks. You want to like try to explore on their backline as much as possible. So me having like that TP just won us the fight right there, just because of the map control that I was able to provide to the team.
Yeah, big agree. The first fight was massive. Like your Black Panther, honestly, nearly this entire game kind of pops off. I have watched this before.
Oh, you watched
it? Yeah, I've watched the first 2 points of this before. Do you think it's dumb now that the enemy team come back to high ground and try to contest you when you already have position? Or
yeah, this is not good for them. Like the way that they should deal with this, but it's really difficult to deal in comp. If you want to pause here so we can talk about it a little bit. So the way that you deal with this is you have to send 1 people or 2 people to a different angle. So for example, if we look at their enemy composition, the Venom or the the Iron Fist, they can go to point. And what that's gonna happen is when they start capping the point, we are gonna split, right? And in comp, it's really difficult to determine who should split, right? A lot of the time, like if people see the point like burning, everybody's gonna go to point. I don't know if you noticed that yourself.
Yeah. They all turn around or whatever.
So you split the resources so that you split our formation. And then if we split incorrectly, that's gonna open up the choke for them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I always say, my analogy that I always use is they're asking a very easy to answer question because they just keep asking the same question, so you always have the same answer. They need to ask a different question by going a different route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like if they go low ground, you have to turn around, and then you can't really just sit there and right click. Like a lot of stuff goes on. They eventually kind of come back, but I think it's just more so.
It's a support ultimate. Yeah, it's a support ultimate div. Obviously, we're doing way more damage to them, and if you go back as soon as just go back a little bit to where she presses Q, the cloak and dagger.
The cloak.
So you notice how if you pause here, like you can pause here, like you notice how the only ultimate that they have is the support ultimate, and look at our ultimates, like the rest of our team has more ultimate. Like we have way more ult value. So I know this might be out of topic, but this is the reason why I think they need to recheck support ultimates and how they're charged, because you cannot have an ultimate. They're so fast and they're too strong. Yes. So this cloak dagger, just pressing Q first, and we have nothing for it. It's really bad for us. So we get punished by doing damage. Does that make sense? The more damage we do, we get punished by it. So
I specifically have problems with cloak and invisible woman because their orbs, doing damage and healing at the same time, just gets their ult way too quick.
Yeah. So this is just a clear example of like how powerful support ultimates are. And yeah, we don't use anything, but it's because we don't have anything. Everybody's doing like enough damage, and because we're doing so much damage, like their support ultimates are just getting fed. And I get that's like one of my biggest complaints with this game is like the support ultimates are too strong and you can get them so easily, right? So the way that this can be avoided is if our Black Panther doesn't die and we're able to kite out their cloak and dagger ult, maybe after the ult he ults and then he can carry or whatever. But this is just an example of support ultimate usage and how powerful they are.
At this point, like after the fight's over, would you argue that like it's a fine death, it's a fine loss? Like you're not upset?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not upset. Like we're at 43%. They use a really powerful ultimate as well to capture this. So it's not a big deal. I think we can recontest this, and that's no problem. Because like now we have the ultimates to kill them, right? Like now they don't have the cloak and dagger ult to kind of like
negate your next contest. Yeah,
exactly.
One thing you did here, I noticed this when I first watched it. You guys were all going low ground to try to contest. You saw that they controlled the low ground corridors, so you did what you kind of critiqued them on their first like re-engage, is you changed your angle, which most people, they're probably going to freak out that you're giving a free 10%, but if you go down there, you're losing space anyway. They've got too much space created, right? So
the 10% doesn't really matter. Like if you think about it, like the 10% doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is capping it completely. So you can legit give out 99% of the point if you have a better fight, right? You want to win the fight no matter what. And yeah, I mean, I lost some percentage, but I was able to put my team in a more advantageous position, which is what we were talking at the beginning, is you want to control the high ground, right? Putting your backline in the high ground is just better, is more beneficial. You can control the tempo of the fight way easier as well. So yeah, you're spot on your observation there.
Well, I think this is the first like mistake that I was going to bring up with you, and see if you think it's a mistake, because my outside perspective might be different, right? So I think you turning around to peel Iron Fist, obviously great, right? Because he's going to harass your healers, so you have to turn. And as soon as he kind of gets out of the fight, do you think it's pointless to chase? Because he's like completely gone.
Yeah, I think on my perspective, I have an opportunity to kill him, because like I chase him, he's like 50% HP, and I have charge already, I'm pretty sure, with my E. So I was thinking maybe I can kill him. And at the end of the day, like you notice how if you check my rotation, right, I'm moving in a way that I can almost be at the same time with my team if I go here,
Yeah, if you
right?
path low.
So
Yep.
yeah, I was pathing like that, right? Now,
Yeah.
am I late to this fight? Yes, I am. I am a little bit late, but not by a much. So my thought process was is like maybe I can kill this guy, and then I can go back to my team immediately. So that's my thing. You notice how I didn't kill him, and then I go back to my team, and I'm already here with them, right? I'm already part of the fight. So it's kind of like I'm thinking of where my team is going, and obviously I'm trying to greed for a kill. Because if I kill him there, like that would be great. But he finesses me a little bit. He's hard to kill. Yeah.
It's also like, and also one thing I do want to take into account is luck and like competent teammates. Obviously, like solo queue is something that can be very volatile. And this game, I think he got pretty lucky. This Black Panther had a really good point. And then this ult is kind of lucky, right? They hit a sick wombo combo.
Yeah.
And that's something as, like, you solo queue a lot, right? Do you ever think about this? You don't ever think your team's going to hit a wombo combo whilst you're chasing, you know?
Nah, I don't really
That's
think too
just
much about
chance.
like, yeah, I'm just letting them, obviously like at this level, there's way more competent players, right? So these people know that the reason why you go Groot Moon Knight is because you want to combo through support ults.
Yeah.
So they know that it works and they should be happening. Obviously execution is a big thing. Like for example, the Groot there, he almost died. He did it really poorly. Yeah. So the execution is not the best, but yeah, I don't think if they miss the combo, it doesn't matter to me because I still I'm still going to point. If the combo doesn't work, I have my ult to finish the fight, if that makes sense. So I always think more about like, what can I do better? Or like, how can I win the fight by myself? Like not with my team, relying on my team.
All right. In this situation, it's your most recent game, so I'm hoping it's kind of fresh in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you were thinking here? You're 50%, you have ult coming up, you have ult up. Did you ult track anything? Are you just going to try to create like pressure on the choke point? What's going through your head right here?
Yeah, well, right now, obviously, I want to position myself in a way that I force them into a bad fight, right? So controlling the choke here is great, like we just saw in the first, Black Panther dive that we had. But overall, what I want to do is I want to ult as fast as possible. Always, like, it's extremely beneficial to use your ultimates as fast as you can. Obviously, I don't want to use them in their spawn because not too good, but I want to make sure that I ult to win. Because in this game, I mean, no matter what ultimate that you use, you can just carry with one ultimate. You can just carry.
Unless it's a Venom ult, sorry.
I mean, yeah, if it is a Venom ult, yeah, but Venom ult is not there to like kill. It's more to help the Venom do more damage or survive, whatever. But yeah, I understand your thing. But yeah, you want to make sure that you use your economy aggressively to force them to make mistakes, right? So for example here, go back.
Good wording. Yeah. Good. I was
going
to bring it up.
Go back. Yeah, you were going to bring it up. So if I queue here, you will notice like their queues after, right?
Yes.
And this is just because they're panicking. It's like, damn, I have to do. So I go here with the queue, right? And then I don't know if it is like, so we kill this guy, right?
I would say that you've won already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everything that they use after is their mistake, like you're saying, right?
Yeah. So, but because of the panic and the chaos, so now this guy support ultimates, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know if it is winnable because this is happening in seconds, right? Like this is happening in seconds. Like fuck, it's winnable. And then this guy, look at all the economy that they're using.
Yeah.
Right. Look at all the economy they're using. Now we can just easily just win with Cloak and Dagger ult here, and the Cloak and Dagger ult is fine. I don't mind it, just to secure the fight. I do think using the Raccoon ultimate is a problem. But it's not it's such a useless ultimate, to be honest. It's not too good, so it's not that big of a waste. But here you can see the consequences of going fast and ulting fast, which is create chaos, panic, and create an advantage for future fights, right? Which I did. If that ultimate forced so much of their economy, and also it won us the fight, right? So it's a lot of value. And this is something that I encourage people is like, if you have an ult, just, go for it. get value. Yeah, do something, generate a new one, because if you already have an ult, you cannot generate a new one, right? So you're wasting a resource that you're not generating. Yeah.
And I think time's actually like a really important. It's not necessarily a fundamental of like playing the game, but it's a fundamental of how you win, right? Like your ults here, yes, you're winning a team fight, but what winning a team fight does is it gives you more time to build percent. It wastes their time, and then they have little time to continue playing the game. And that's another thing, like where chaos can kind of happen, right? When you're low on time, you're rushed and you can't really play properly.
Yeah, the classic overtime. The classic overtime mindset, right? It's like, who's gonna touch, right? And then when no one says anything, then the worst persons who can touch go touch, and then it creates chaos, right? And that chaos is what makes people lose. And you will see if you see, like, obviously you see like high level play, you know, from time to time in different games, but the teams that like the teams that, I don't know when I say throw, but there's a key word in English here that I'm missing. The choke, right?
Yeah.
The teams that choke are the teams that panic during the situation, because at tournament level, like, you're like, fuck, there's so much in the line, right? It's like, fuck, there's so much in the line. So people start panicking, and the chokers are the ones that lose in situations like this. And it's similar situation in rank. It's like, if you choke during these times, you will make more mistakes and it will cost you the game. So here, obviously, after me saying all that, is like, oh, you lost, right? And yeah, we did, but look at their economy, right?
Yeah.
They have nothing. They have nothing, and we have a combo cooking here, right?
Yeah, you
so
do, yeah.
So statistically, if the execution is, oh, he's going already. So
There's
maybe
a mistake.
yeah, I think that's a mistake. I think he's just too inspirational, but that's a mistake. Yeah, he doesn't need to do that. Yeah.
I think that's a good point in case of like the panic setting in of wanting to clutch, and it's overtime. He just wanted to secure the win, but if he honestly, all he had to do was die and combo with Moon Knight, you know? But
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because like, even if they use Invisible Woman ult next fight, which is the only thing that they have, is we can kill through it. That's a powerful. That's the power of that combo, right?
So Root Moon Knight's actually, I think, slept on. Similar to like the Grav
really
Dragon
good.
combo from Overwatch, like burning through trans. Yeah, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but I think I talked about this on stream, actually. I made a video about it on stream, where like I'm talking about how the reason why that combo is so popular is just because of how strong triple support is, or how common triple support is.
100%.
So yeah, it's getting slipped on, but I think at high level people are just actually playing it more and more now, just because of So you want to talk about this TP?
Yeah, I want to talk about the portal, because you started portaling. All right, so you're thinking about portaling to a potential continuation of the fight to keep it ticking.
Yeah.
You realize it's bad, and then changing your mind is something that I think most people struggle with. Obviously, you've got heaps of experience, Overwatch League, and obviously Marvel Rivals as well. But like, obviously, portaling here would be bad, but like where we are right now. But people will probably be so stuck in their way that I can touch here or I can keep going. I've already made my mind up. And I think what separates like bad players, average players, from becoming like just good and just above average is the ability to change your mind and like think a tiny bit more critically, right? So to get out of like, you can still portal, which is something that you do. You don't just cancel your portal and panic. You just change to a high ground off angle. And also one thing I want to highlight is that you waited for the death timers of your team to pop up, which obviously I think that might separate a good player to a great player. Most people probably just portal a high ground without thinking or waiting a little bit. And like, it's stuff that will happen on everyone's streams that they're watching in VODs, but it's like, you just made 4 decisions based on information that you kind of just like absorbed. You know what I mean? And that's not something that can come naturally. That just comes with time playing the game. Would you agree?
Yeah. A lot of what happened here, it's you won't see a lot of people seeing, because I'm actually happy that you're able to recognize all this stuff, like getting the information, stalling the teleport for my team to come together. There's a lot of shit happening here.
Yeah, and it's not
But
mechanical, which is what makes it so interesting, in my
yeah,
opinion, right?
yeah. So everything that you did here, that you do here, is pretty much a spot on, but you can see the potential and
Yeah.
and how strong it is. But it doesn't, like, I don't want to gas myself here, but like everything that happened during this time is just really hard to get to, right? Just like pressing the teleport and recognizing that the fight is lost and moving the teleport to an advantageous position, like everything that happened here, it takes a lot of a lot of a lot of experience,
Yeah,
a lot of time
it's
to
like
get to
6
that point.
correct decisions in a row, which is kind of slept on.
Yeah, yeah, it's too crazy, because like you're taking such a simple idea, which is like, not
It beat a point.
staggering, grouping up, teleporting at a good position, right? It's like there's so many things together, but you can see how it gives you the reward, right? It gives you the reward, which is the win here. So everything
They
that
did
happened
see
there
that.
was perfect for us to be able to uh to get us the win there. But
All
yeah,
right, so
that was actually kind of crazy.
after the first point, when I first watched it, and we're probably stopping and starting, which can kind of cause you to like lose focus on how the game naturally felt. But after that first point, I thought Black Panther is like, I would feel confident playing with him, and he's like a win condition on my team. Like, finding people on your team that are good that you can trust. The Groot was actually pretty good outside that one mistake, and I feel like Rocket's not getting too much value. Do you look at your team in that critical way in ranked as well? Like, you try to look at what's strong on your team versus what is not that great when I got there.
A little, yes. I think about it sometimes, but not all the time. I think I do it more when I play support or DPS.
Yep.
And my way to do it is really simple. So if I think, like this Hela, for example, this Hela is a really good player. If I think this Hela is really strong or really good, then I will just play around. So I will just team up. For example, I can go Thor here, right?
Yes. Yep.
Or if I was playing support, I would just be going Loki. So
Yep.
it's simple. It's simple things like that. But overall, that way of thinking is difficult because not everybody knows how to play Thor. Not everybody knows how to play Loki, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard for you to get to that point. So I would much rather just consider, okay, I'm doing good on Strange. I'm feeling good. I have my ultimate already. I'll just keep this, even though Strange
Yeah, just keep
doesn't
trucking
really.
along.
Yeah, even though Strange doesn't really make the Hela better, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's a way that, yeah, I do think about it. But most of the time I think about it when we're leaving spawn, for example. If I know someone, if I think we can make it work, then I play around them. I like doing that. But I do feel really comfortable playing like a lot of supports, a lot of tank characters, where I can do that, but I wouldn't suggest that on people. I think for a player, like, definitely just focus more on having a solid formation. So, one tank to supports minimum, and then, pick like your best character if possible. Like whatever character you feel you can do the best, because that's how you can actually carry.
Yeah, big agree. Comfort beats like meta most of the time. Most of the time, there
Yeah.
are some picks that Do you think you're appealing? I think your team handled their own, which is obviously
Yeah.
great. But I think it's important that you did go back, even though it looks like you didn't get much value because your team did it for you, which is great. I just think the muscle memory of running back to your supports when they're getting dove is really, really important. And then here, I can guarantee that we'll see
I can give you like
get...
a better example if you want. It's something
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
If you go back to where I see
Your peel, yeah.
Yeah. Just not even the peel. Like, just look at my eyes. Like, go back more. Go back more.
Oh, even more. Okay.
Yeah, go back more.
Oh, when
So
you
right
see them
here.
pathing, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, this is definitely another decision making. So if I keep going forward here, so it's literally me versus like a damage boosted, or pause here, pause. So if I push here by myself, there's 3 people potentially looking at me,
Whatever.
right? So it's 1v3. And also on top of that, like the raccoon is boosting this Bucky. So on my, I don't want to push that. I like, this is not a good trade for me because it's 3 versus 1. I'm gonna die. So I play slow. I'm slowing down. There's nothing I can do right now to them. So I go back and I see this and I'm like, okay, I can shit on this.
That's something you can
This
do.
is
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that I can do, which my team deals with it properly. But I can be effective here rather than the other in the other situation.
That's a good fundamental that I used to bring up all the time when it came to MOBAs. Is obviously it's a different genre, and it comes in different map states. But like a lot of the time, people get stuck on the thing that they can't handle. Like, oh, I can't kill this Groot, or oh, I can't dive the support, and that's what kind of makes you keep losing and losing and losing. But you got to find the angle of what can you do, like change your vocabulary of how you're talking to yourself. And I think you did that in like half a second, which is obviously incredibly fast. Most people would probably, if we go back and think about it, like here, if they do go forward and then they die, they'd be like, damn, I can't dive rocket. And then they try again and go, damn, I can't dive rocket. So obviously
No, or
you've
they
made
would
the
say
decision
like, guys,
straight
why are
away.
you not healing me?
Yeah, why aren't we diving rocket? We need to kill rocket. Yeah, I get you.
Guys,
So yeah, it's cool
guys,
that
where are the heals?
you completely like 180'd and figured out what you could impact. But let's move on to the next fight. Oh, that's actually what I was going to talk about next is this little diving choke corridor with a BP. It's another example of holding high ground, right? Just a different map, or holding an important choke point. I don't think too much actually comes out of it. If nothing is happening whilst you control point, that's a massive win, right?
Yeah, I think the problem here, I think if you pause and you check the positioning of our... Okay, so in this situation, right?
Are you getting backcapped?
Yeah, we're getting backcapped, and our raccoon is on point, kind of like controlling that, which is really, really good. I think it's a really good trade. But this is one of those situations that creates panic and chaos for us, because if the raccoon player cannot deal with this, then what are we gonna do? We're gonna send more, right? We're gonna send more, and this is gonna break the choke. So I think our formation here is good, but the fact that the Iron Fist is there is really good for them, because he's able to create that chaos and that confusion for us of who's gonna defend, who's gonna help a raccoon, right? Etc. Etc. But I think raccoon versus Iron Fist it's like a good trade. I think he can win. I think he can win.
Yeah, I don't. Well, even if he doesn't like quote unquote win, I think he can stall long enough, like for a very long time.
Yeah, but you notice how I posture myself more defensive now because of this chaos that was created. So it was a good play by them. It's a good play by them.
Yeah, it was, and it forced like you might still have a pretty strong position with choke point, and you're able to support the point, but you're unsupportable. You know what I mean? Like your team actually can't help you, but you know, if anything goes wrong, you can still jump down, which is... Yeah,
I'm waiting for them to deal with the point before I do anything myself. So I'm playing really slow, just kind of like stalling a little bit. And yeah.
But I saw you dip in. You dip into this, like, I thought it crossed your mind. When you drop down, you're like, I swear to God, you're like, ooh, I could go in here and like get a massive flank ult off. I could I swear I could see your cogs turning.
Nah, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait because we have one man down right now, and they're using ultimate, so it's a really crazy fight. But I think if I ult here, is still good. Still good.
What's the big point here?
I wanted to get the Iron Fist mostly. I wanted to get the Iron Fist with this ult, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
That's funny.
It's something really powerful to do when like because a lot of these ultimates, for example, like you know, Bucky, Iron Fist, Magic. People don't understand that they can get CC'd. It's difficult to CC them, right? Because of portals, or because Iron Fist can just fucking block it, or what is it? Bucky's flying in the sky, right? But if you're able to CC the ult, then you counter their ultimate and you get the kill. So it's really, really powerful. So my goal here was to go for the Iron Fist mostly, but I also, but I also posture myself so I can just get a little bit more value. But the value here, just getting Iron Fist would have been like phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Strange players never really like doing in the lower elos, is like ulting one person, but you know, man advantage is so important in hero shooters and in any genre of game. That I will always advocate, especially like, yes, negating an ult is good, but let's just say it's 80% versus 0%, and you just see an Invis Woman or Adam Warlock alone. You probably just go ult them, you know, to start a fight. Would you say that's something that you should do in the lower elos?
Well, this is a different... In the lower elos, I would just, you know, kill as many people as I can. Or use the ultimate as fast as possible, right? Yeah, just farm everything, But I think at a strategic... talking about more strategy, I think canceling their ultimate and getting the kill, it's a more favorable trade, because if I don't stop this Iron Fist, and let's say that I go for their supports, right? If I kill 2 of their supports with my
You
ult,
do.
how many kills does the Iron Fist is getting, right?
Yeah.
So the Iron Fist can kill 2 of us, and I can kill 2 of them, but that's an even trade. That's bad.
Yes.
You never want to trade. You never want to trade evenly. You always want to trade with a favor, with something in your favor. So I didn't get the Iron Fist here, but I think my ultimate was still fat enough that it didn't.
Yeah.
And he didn't get too much value either. I think my team was dealing with him really, really well.
Big agree. This is actually, I remember watching this through, and I thought that this is the first time I saw you do like nuts micro, right? Yeah, you split your damage between the Bucky and the Invis Woman, so your E kills both at the same time, which is something that's really small, but it's like the difference between Invis Woman getting her ult off because you focus only Bucky, or Bucky getting his ult off because you focus only Invis Woman, right? So
Yeah,
like,
I think if you're able to get the 2 kills with the E, that would be great. But you want to know what's making this really easy for me?
what's
The
that?
the spirit bond. Spirit bond.
Wait, that's making
So
it easier for you.
Yeah, because the spirit bond shares the damage no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, so if you hit collateral damage with your E, it hits everybody like an extra 15% or something.
Yeah, yeah. Look at the HP of the Adam Warlock. I think he's not even there, dude.
Where is he?
Like he probably took
yeah,
the health pack or
right.
something. Yeah. So spirit bond, it's making the split easier.
Yeah.
To deal with.
Never thought about that in a advantageous, like aggressive way. That's funny.
Spirit bond is really good. If they're taking like if one person is taking the damage, but because of Strange does AOE damage, he's doing damage to all of them anyways. So the damage split is the same. If that makes sense, it's like a It's like a calculation. It's really good when like you spirit bond like your DPS, and then he is taking damage. All the damage is getting split by everybody else. But when you're just cleaving everything, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The split is not the best. So yeah, spirit bond kind of like helped me there, finish the fight. But the ultimate was really good. It was a really sloppy fight, but I think it was like, I think I did a good job with those double kill there, overall.
I do agree. This whole fight starts becoming sloppy. Obviously, like you win the fight, and what do? You go straight up to high ground / choke point, which is, you know, good muscle memory, good fundamentals of just claiming space.
Yeah. You always want to force them to like fight for every inch of the map, like every inch of the map. Like you want to force them to use ultimates here, right? Rather than to use ultimates in point. That's like one thing that's really important, because if they use ultimates in point, then they're getting progress while murdering you. Well, like if they use ultimates here, they're not getting any progress, right? So
yeah.
Forcing the economy early is always good. But you wanted to say something. I think I cut you out.
Not necessarily. I was gonna bring up the fact that, like, after the fight you claim high ground, but you've done this once before, and their answer was actually the Iron Fist flank, right? And did it ever cross your mind that he would just do it again? Like, he just did the exact same play again.
Nah, not really. I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, you know, if the Iron Fist is a problem, then, you know, hopefully we can deal with him. I think the biggest issue here is that the Black Panther is diving way too deep, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Our Black Panther just dives way too deep, and he's out of LOS of the team. Like, if he's chilling a little bit more, maybe like focusing on the Venom or something, you know, playing a corner or going on this side lock here. Yeah. It will be better, but he goes out of LOS of everybody, so we cannot support him. He's doing damage to something that we cannot follow up either. So he ins too much. But I think that's really common with high mobility characters, is like they just keep going deeper and deeper. But what I would do there if I was the Black Panther player is I'll just play slower and analyze, see if my team is under pressure, and then just fight in LOS of the team. That's it. Because not even I can help him.
Yeah, he gave himself natural cover from his own supports. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Just positioning hooked himself.
Yeah, and that was like a really big loss for us. But at least we have 99. It's not a big problem. This
Hmm.
guy, this guy's doing some crazy stuff, dude.
This is
Hitting
where
him with
it starts getting hectic. They honestly, I
hectic.
think that play by them was pointless. Like, but you
The
earlier in
silo
the
cult.
game said, yeah, that you want to be ripping ults fast. I think the one condition to fix that would be like not stacking them. You know what I mean? Because they just Venom ulted, Psylocke ulted. Honestly, I think my bias is that Venom ult's just whatever. But is Psylocke ult being down is a massive win in my mind.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
like you were
It's
losing
like
anyway.
the best way to do it is you wanna ult when the fight is as even as possible. So if it is
Yes.
6v6, 5v5, 4v4,
It's a great way to put
using
it.
the ult, yeah, using the ult will give you the advantage. It will give you like that plus to swing the fight in your favor. But
Hmm.
if you use an ultimate when it's 6v4, then yeah, it's a waste because you
Yeah.
already won the fight, right?
That's such a good way to put it. I've never even thought about it that simply. Like you want to ult when things are even to create
Yeah,
the advantage. Yeah.
exactly. And the opposite as well is if you want to pause a little bit and talk about this, if you ult when it's like, let's say that you're Black Panther fed and it's
Hmm.
6v5 and you ult, you can win the fight without ult,
Yeah.
right? Because you're making up for the fact that you're missing a Black Panther. So it's a really crazy topic, but you want to use the ultimates to get an advantage when you need the advantage.
Yeah.
But when you already when you already won the fight, do you really need the advantage? No,
Hmm.
not really.
It's
You
like
just need to clean.
it's like a scale. Like I used to have a point system where, like, if you were at plus 7 points, there's no need to continue building a lead. Like in MOBAs, like if we did a
Yeah,
bunch of stuff on the map, why are we still on the map? We should reset and spend our money. But in Marvel Rivals, the way that you do it, I guess, would be like if you're at a +2 of, it's a 4v6, or maybe they double support ulted in your face, there's no need to be greedy and then dump everything because you're already
yeah,
at a +2. Um, and the counter system, I like, you said +1. It can be used for heaps of stuff, right? Not just like if Black Panther died, you're at -1 on your team. But on the same vein, if you try to do the Moon Knight Groot combo and you whiff it, you're now at a -2. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's really bad. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So like there's
exactly.
heaps
But
of ways to look at it, right?
the scale system that you mentioned is a really good way to put it. And obviously, like the being really specific with the scale numbers is difficult.
Yes.
but
Yep.
but it's just about like having that mindset of like, a if our scale is heavier now because we got 2 picks, maybe don't ult,
Yeah.
maybe save your ult. So yeah, it's just about having the thought process, the scale. You cannot just be super precise with this stuff because it's really specific.
I thought right here, you guys won the point, right? Do you remember what happens here?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
remember the
don't
cloak.
remember
The
what
cloak
happened.
stalls really well, which is like I think honestly that cloak ult maybe just won the game, but then we see this dude, the clutch portal.
The
I
clutch
swear
water,
to I
yeah.
swear to God, he did not touch. Maybe it's Venom,
Let's see. The Venom's touching. He's getting blasted.
right? I'm gonna slow it down because I think it's complete bullshit that you are.
No, we
You're at
didn't
fifty
won here.
percent. He did. He touched.
Yeah, he does touch.
Yeah,
He does
just
touch.
touched. That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
fine. So let's see what
Um,
happens. Did they just use Bucky ult here?
I honestly, I think what happened, like, yeah, he
Look
gets
at
a
all
big
this.
green.
Look at all
I don't
these
know what you call
colors,
it.
man.
He wasted his ult
Yeah,
though, right? But
yeah, he
what
died.
what the fundamental that actually happened was the thing that we talked about on the first map, like the Royal Palace map, is when it's overtime, shit hits the fan and it becomes like chaos, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you looked at this footage back, like in a team scrim environment, you guys would probably review it and be like, how do we lose this game?
All right. So what you need to analyze here is the positioning of our backline.
Hmm.
And obviously our backline is there because they're like, well, we have to kill Venom, so we have to play aggressive. But in no way our backline should be dying first, because our backline is supposed to be like away
Like,
from danger, or safe, exactly. So we have 5 people on point, and that's the problem. We only need
Yeah.
to have our tanks on point. So our backline should be like in where the health pack is, on the stairs, or maybe on the high ground, and all of us are on point. And what happens when the backline is on point? Well, they get murdered, right? They get murdered.
Yeah.
They become target. So that's the reason why we lost, because of the chaos of the fight. Our backline is also in a bad position, and they don't think about like, oh, Strange can TP at any time, and I'm gonna be in danger. And you notice how if you play this fight, you will notice how our backline just dies first, and that's a
Yeah.
fundamental mistake. The
Oh
backline
yeah.
should not be dying first. Look at their position here. I think the Bucky gets he gets some damage on the raccoon, and everything is chaos, right? It's panic. So I think our backline should not be dying first. I don't know how this guy died too. Like
He got
he didn't have that die.
soloed. He got soloed by the Iron Fist. They had a duel. Like they literally both
Okay.
went up the stairs and just 1v1.
Yeah, our Hela here is dying as well.
Oh, did she I thought she birded it off. She breaks her own line of sight too, right?
Yeah, and our backline here is on a better position.
Hmm.
But then because they're under heavy pressure, right? Or Groot dies, right?
Yes.
But because our backline is taking so much damage, then we have less attention on our front line, and then the Groot ends up dying. Obviously, the Psylocke dies because of a mechanical problem. So now it's pretty much GG's. I think it's pretty much GG's. Like I don't think we can win this fight anymore. But I do think it's because of our backline positioning. But this is really hard to fix.
Yeah, yeah. And in ranked,
The only
this is just gonna happen.
Yeah, this is gonna happen. I think if you're one of the backline players, just keep in mind your positioning even at the end of the game, right? So because a strange TP can just happen, and they can just force another touch.
Is there anything like Strange Portal in Overwatch that, like, I can't think of anything that can just flip the game so fast and gives you such like positional advantage, you know?
Yeah, I think Strange Portal is. I think there's a reason why Marvel Rivals is so good, because you have crazy mechanics like this one that, I mean, I do think it needs to be patched, right? But I also don't want them to remove it from the game, because I think it's an awesome mechanic, right? How many clips have you seen?
Oh yeah,
have you seen of Strange? Yeah. So, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say just increase the cooldown. Like,
yeah, increase the cooldown. One big problem that I have with it is that once people take it one time, if they die, they can take it again. Like that's a big problem.
oh
It should
yeah,
not.
true.
It should not stay alive for that long. Like that's a little bit crazy. You should like pop it, you take it, and boom, it's gone, right? And this also alleviates a lot of the problems. I don't know if you deal with this or seen this before, but strange players block spawns.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up. How do you feel about that?
That should not be in the game. That's really dumb and really stupid. I think, but you fixed it by reducing the time that the portal stays active, which is what I just talked about. Right? If you teleport, you take it and it stays up for like, I don't know, maybe like 6-7 seconds or something, and that's it. You know, like you cannot take it. You should not be able to take a port twice. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
I agree. One of the fixes, I actually think you brought it up in your stream once, is that this should be like a dead zone where no portals could be placed down. So like the first, like 5 meters of the map or of the spawn room are a safe space for portals. So like you can only get this close or something. I think that's a pretty smart fix, but
that's a really good fix. But I do think like just reducing the time that the portal stays alive is also like it should be like that. Like that portal, it lasts for too long. I think someone taking it twice doesn't make any sense to me. It's way too good. Like that's just too powerful. I've died like going through a portal and then I take it again. Like what is that, dude?
Have you dropped down and died going through your own portal?
Yeah. Like you go in, right? They break your shield, or you go in as a different character.
Punisher ulted or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you die, and then you take it again. Like that's just too crazy.
One thing I wanted to bring up here, you did it on the first iteration of the map, and now you did it here. Oh my god, that bugged me out. With this point, you just wanted to get your whole team as close as possible, right?
Yeah. I want to
ever take
do it up there.
or here. Like, do you see?
There's a problem. there's a problem
Yep.
with doing that is like both these high grounds are destructible. So
Ah,
you can you press B right now on your keyboard and see if it actually gives you the mark, or
no, it didn't
maybe it
work.
doesn't. Yeah, but both of these high grounds are destructible, so it's not really cover. I don't think it's really cover.
That's fair.
But I see people doing it, and it's fine. But again, if you put people on high grounds that can be shot, then it's just gonna create more chaos, and there's not gonna be any cover anymore at some point. So I don't like that. I would much rather play around stuff that it's actual real cover, which is this structure around the tree. Yeah, like this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yep.
this is what
I was about
I
to say
think
this
it's
is
more.
so important on this map.
Yeah,
People understand.
yeah,
Yeah. Another thing I kind of thought of here is like if you do portal up here, you're actually probably just feeding ults to people because they can just shoot you anywhere, and like it's not
yeah.
even good
There's no
line of
cover.
sight.
Like I
You're
can't do
actually,
any damage
yeah,
from there either. Like overall, the teleport is mostly for me, to be honest. Like I
yeah.
want to be on an aggressive position to be able to do damage and farm. So I think that's like the only thing that I can think of. Like look at this. Like this is just
Yeah, yeah.
really crazy. You know that?
I found the penny on attack on domination maps is very good. I actually really rate it, especially if it's like a closed. Like there's only two real ways to get into point, and her nest can just get rid of
Yeah,
all this space.
it's too
Yeah.
strong. And Penny is really good versus their comp too. Like versus like high mobility characters. Like I
Venom
was
and
thinking
Iron
about
Fist.
going Penny Parker. Yeah, I was thinking about going Penny, but this guy kind of like beat me to it. I think I even mentioned it on stream too. I said like maybe Penny will be good versus their comp.
I think your comp. Actually, this is something. Would you say that your comp improved with your Black Panther swapped to a support, and he seemed like a really good player. So him going to support probably has like means it stops him from throwing like he did on point 2. But also I think like the map changing really helped against their dive because there's no real slippery corridors like there was in the second part of Idrisil. Like this is very open, and it's so bad to play dive. I feel on this point.
You want me to tell you the huge changes in our comp, dude? Is
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got rid of
yeah.
Raccoon.
Yeah, honestly, very true as well. Yeah, that is very
Like
true.
we got rid of Raccoon. Like Raccoon is not. It's not a bad character, but I think there's just like bad Raccoon players that never shoot their gun. I think I mentioned this on stream too, and you probably heard it. Is you will see Raccoon players with like 300 damage, and we can
Yeah.
talk about it. Like if you want to make a video about this next time, like I'm down to discuss about like Rocket Raccoon and how he should be played better, because I think when you're a Raccoon player with like 300 damage, like if you can open up the scoreboard here even before the game starts, like the Three Goose guy was or Raccoon player, he's doing some damage. I think
He's
like
actually not too bad. Yeah.
he's not too bad, yeah. But he ideally he will be having more kill anyways. Like you want to have higher
Yeah, he's not
kills instead
damaging
of just
many people.
assists. You see how he has
7.
26 assists.
Yeah.
So you want to have that gap closer. But yeah, I think just to answer your question, I think just us removing the Raccoon actually help us like a bunch here. Just have a better team composition. Period.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys just control the point. I think do you 100 to 0 this point due to the issues of team comps?
So we're doing really good here. We're just stalling, surviving. Me surviving
Lucky.
there is like really crucial. Like
Yeah,
just stalling
very
the
true.
point, surviving a little bit there, and just making time for my team to kind of help me again.
I think
we
they're
popped
there
this
Bucky
world
kind of
as
through
well.
as well.
I mean, he almost killed me, but
True.
he actually got rolled.
Do you like this? This pushing out?
Yeah, just to try to get more poke, get more damage. I'm not gonna kill anything here, but my team maybe get some value. I do call my team to go back here, to go back to point, because I don't really want to fight there. It's not good. Yeah, so overall, like you want to ult the closer they get to point, because you're wasting their time, right? If you ult in their spawn, you're not. It's like what, like a 5 second? Like they will just die and they will just come back to the same spot in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The time to travel to here is 3 seconds, where this is like 13. Yeah.
Yeah. So you wanna ideally, waste as much time as possible. So I'm just pulling everybody back. I already know that I wanna ult. Like that's, I think I said it in comms. It's like I just wait for them to push and I'm gonna ult, and I'm pretty much just do that because of my mindset of I want to use as many ults as possible. I don't care what's going on, right? I want to carry. So
that's what my next question was going to be. I want to see how fast you ult, because, you know, you chased him out, you got your ult charge, you bring everyone back. If you jump over this wall and ult them, I just want to see how... Yeah. Yeah,
Like
you do
Insta,
live
right?
up to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It just
like
really
Insta,
highlights...
like the
It's
thought
just good.
process. Yeah.
Mm.
And here, like, we don't get any kill, but look at how much I force, right? And that's the value. You need to see like the value of just
Yeah,
pressing
they
Q
Loki
early. You go
ulted,
back.
they double support ulted.
So as soon as I press Q, like just pause and just see like everything that goes down.
Okay.
Like once the ult happens. And you need to see that value too. There's gonna be times where you're gonna ult people and they don't do anything, or like you don't kill anything, but you look at the cooldowns that I'm being forced, right?
Even
So
Bubble's something worth noting. That's a big
yeah,
cooldown to steal too.
he used that cooldown. They use cloak and dagger ult. Their flying dude, this guy,
He's out of the fight.
he went the hell away from it too. They used immortality from Loki, so the
Yeah.
green thing. So how much stuff I'm just forcing by just pressing Q.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
what
think
that does... Oh, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off because, like, we haven't talked about my turn, your turn yet. I don't know if you use that fundamental, but like your ult gets all their cooldowns, therefore they can't play the game because they're all on cooldown. So it's your team's turn, and like I'm fairly certain that it's like 13 seconds for this. Immortality is really long. It's gonna take him like 12 seconds to reposition anyway. Cloak and Dagger ult is completely gone, and Venom's like alone, right? So it's your turn for the next 20 seconds. And like in a game where time is all that really matters, like time controlling the map, 20 seconds is pretty much like you're getting to 60% no matter what, just from that one ult, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of people, like they get really upset when they ult and they don't kill anything. But obviously for me, I'm able to see all the value that I'm getting, right? And that's really important. It's all about value, right? That's how you win
I'm
fights.
gonna look at that's 30 seconds cooldown. What's he doesn't count, he's a tank.
I mean, he used an ult, so that's kind of
Yeah,
insane,
that's an
no?
ult gone. He's still 10 seconds, well that's 40 seconds worth of cooldowns. He's still not in the fight. This guy's in the... And then he's the only guy that kind of can play the game, right? So you've got 40 seconds worth of cooldowns, and yeah, one guy can ult.
Yeah, and look who dies here. I think the Namor dies. So I'm not getting the kills with my ult, but because of everything that's being forced out, like the immortality and the ultimates, my team gets that advantage, right? So Namor is gonna die here because I forced his shift already early, right?
Yes.
Stuff like that. So I think it's hard for people to think about that when they play. Like they always want to be like I just want to ult when I kill all 6.
Yeah.
And that's a really bad mindset because it stops you from, just getting this type of value faster. Because like you said, like time is really valuable in this game. So any time that you can waste, any time that you can make is really powerful. What, insane trap or what?
Yeah, look at this guy. It really just You talked about this earlier, right? You can CC Bucky out of ult. Point in case right there. She just takes him down. That's awesome.
Yeah, easy.
That was good by that guy. Yeah, when it comes to other abilities and what you're looking for, what do you value higher? For example, like, do you care about... I'm going to take ults out of this conversation, right? Obviously, ults are the best thing to get. But would you rather get a mobility ability out? Like, if you're on a Hela, would you rather get her Crow, or would you rather get Mantis Sleep, or like a support utility? Do you really value one higher than the other, or do you just think it's case by case basis?
No, I think I never think about specific characters. Like when I play, I just think about playing aggressive myself to force them to use everything. Like obviously there's more important things than others, but I never just say like, oh, I'm just gonna go in to force this specific cooldown. No, I go with the mindset of like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make them waste everything.
Do stuff. Yeah, you just think they have to do something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I have to do something. Exactly. I have to do damage. I have to use my ult. I have to do this. I have to make space. Like it's always like what I need to do. And if
That's
you have
cool.
this mindset, like you don't like, because like a lot of people will say like, can we use this ultimate to force that ultimate and
Yeah,
then do this to do
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
nah, that's not gonna happen, dude. Like, shit is not gonna go that well,
I,
especially when you
I,
play solo, right?
yeah. I think the only like argument people could say is like the support alts could maybe talk to each other about who's going to ult first. But outside of that, you don't know what you're going to be ulting first. Like you just know that if shit goes down, I press my Q first, you hold yours second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that mentality of forcing people to press buttons in an uncomfortable way.
Yeah,
It's another
it's
fundamental that I've talked about in another game, right? Where we can sit there and lose quietly because we're too scared to do something, or we can force the enemy team to press buttons in a losing advantage. And as long as we create chaos, like there's a chance for anything, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
You want to force people to be uncomfortable when they play,
hmm
um, to force them to make really bad decisions, and then the more bad decisions they make, the more advantages you can create.
I love the fact that you like so many tanks, or you're kind of doing it now, but this is a bad example. But so many people will like, I'm holding. Oh, I've just alt tabbed on. There's so many tanks will just hold a position and be like, I'm holding this choke because this choke is important. And then the enemy team will, press every button on your shield. You actually get super value, but then people are just too afraid to, have their turn of being aggressive. But I think your playstyle of just constant aggression into, peeling back into constant aggression, it's like a joust or like a seesaw, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that ebb
yeah,
and flow of the game, it's nice to see in ranked and stuff because, if one team's just better than the other, it just turns into this. They all die, and then you'll push back. You run
yeah.
everyone
It's
down
like
again, and then you
if
come
you
back.
think like a boxer, right? Like two
Yeah,
people boxing.
that's a good way to
Like
put it.
if you're the attacking boxer, like you can just go like boom, 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 but eventually what's gonna happen is you're gonna get tired, and then you have to fall back and play defensive, right? Like you cannot just always keep going. You go until you can, which in this game, you translate it to this game is like what allows you to go forward. Your shield, your HP, your cooldowns, your ultimates. But what happens if you don't have any of those? Then you
Yeah,
slow down.
you just
Like
die.
you go, yeah, you die. If you keep going, you die. So you have to like go in, go out. And here, for example, I have no shield. So if I keep going forward, my shield's gonna get broken, and I'm just gonna feed, right? So it's about like understanding how much you can go in, how much you can go out. But it's all about like go in, go out, go in, go out. Offensive, defensive, offensive, defensive. Always. You cannot just be
uh,
one side or the other. It's always like having the perfect balance.
yeah, yeah. And I would rather have. Actually, this can be like the last point of the video. Would you rather have someone who goes in and tests their limits and like will die a bit more than average, or someone who just sits on point as a strange holding right click? You know what I mean? And then like
Ooh,
getting carried up to I
it's
don't know,
really hard
like
because yeah, that's a really hard question to answer. Because both of them have their
they
like their
both
pros and
suck.
cons, right? Yeah. Yeah, ideally like the perfect player will be the one that can do both
Yeah,
all the time.
that's such a coach slash cop out answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah, I
have to
mean,
do both.
you have to do both. Yeah, if you analyze like the best, I mean, I think the best players in Marvel Rivals or like in hero shooters right now, just based on statistics, it's probably Korean players. So
I agree.
Korean players, like what they do, and this is like a different mindset from Western players, is the Western player is the people who they just want to kill everybody by themselves. They just want to go in, limit test. The word that you said is limit testing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the opposite, the Korean players, they're the ones that instead of limit testing, they want to like survive, do enough and survive. And I don't know if you're familiar with Overwatch eSports, but Koreans were the players who they started kind of like playing the dive meta. So a dive equivalent would be like a Captain America Venom beta, if that ever
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are the guys who play that style, and that's the hardest style to play because it
Yeah, it's so
requires you
risky.
to. It's really risky, yeah, but it's really powerful for space making and just point control. Is I don't think it's gonna happen soon, but it is eventually is gonna get there. Um, it's just that Captain America is not too popular right now, but I think eventually he's gonna be like played everywhere. You will see it, like you will hear it first. Like Captain America is gonna get over buff, and he's just gonna be played everywhere in
I think
Asia.
what's going to happen, what I see happening in like the evolution of the meta is like this triple support thing, it's actually not that good once people realize, or it forces too many bans on like Moon Knight or Groot, or even like dude, I was trying to like really theory craft and think about like Mantis Black Widow, where you buff the Black Widow and she just headshots one of the supports, but it doesn't work,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
I
anything
mean
that can just,
it can work. It can work
it's
if you have a
close,
good
it's
Black Widow.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it can work. But who plays Black Widow nowadays?
no,
Like,
it's
it,
I was really
it,
like going off the deep end on how to beat this triple support thing. But the one thing that
yeah,
I think will happen is like healing or something will be reduced, or a Lunar Snow nerf will come through at the same time that Cap America gets buffed, and then he just turns into the triple support meta, right? Because it's just
yeah.
still a death bowl walking forward. But that's, I don't know. We could hypothesize all we want, but to wrap up, what's two bits of advice for anyone that wants to get better at tanks that I think anyone could do? What do you reckon they would be? Sorry to put
Uh,
you on the spot.
um, yeah, no, it's fine. I think tank players always have this idea that they need to shield the team or protect the team, and it's extremely important for you to, instead of thinking about protecting, like you need to be a threat to protect. So how are you a threat in this game? By getting on people's faces and killing them.
Yeah,
So
nice.
as a tank player, you have to kill. You have to go in, you have to kill, you have to be a threat to create aggro, to be aggro. If you're just staying behind, shielding your team, doing zero damage, then you're not gonna. No one's gonna look at you, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be looking at your team, and that's a problem. So, I think fundamentally every role should damage. And as a tank player, you should be doing damage. You should be killing. The more damage you do, the more threat you create. And I think you said 2 points, right? So that's the first one, just do damage. Second point would be is what's something that can be. The second point is if you are not doing any damage because of the composition or the map design or whatever it is, then maybe consider trying a different character during that time. So even though in this replay I played Doctor Strange, there's situations where Strange can be really weak because they're playing like really long range characters that I cannot reach. So maybe going Magneto or a character that can die them can be really, really strong. So be flexible. Be flexible. Try to learn at least 2 to 3 characters. Don't just be like a one-trick pony. Especially once you start hitting diamond, like you're gonna get banned sometimes.
Yep.
So try to be flexible and not just be a one-trick as well. Do damage.
Alrighty. Thank you for the time, Nomy. That was we'll just cut it there. So thank you for your time, Nomy. It's fine. No, that was good. That went way longer than I thought it would, I'm not gonna lie. But I guess we just like yapping. So that was the chat with Nomy. Let me know what you think. As always, next week there will be a new video. Before that, make sure you're following Nomy on all his socials. As you can see here, I do advise going into his streams. His streams are a lot more play-by-play focused. And I think you could get a lot out of it if you want to be a tank main. He also does swap to support quite a lot, but his tank play, in my opinion, one of the better ones in Asia.